Jim Lee is the mastermind behind Mark Rober's CrunchLabs, and in this episode, he takes us behind the scenes.
So we spent a year just toiling away in secret, just getting everything into place. Each product takes a year to develop. CrunchLabs, we aspire to be the best brand in the world in STEM, getting kids, adults, everyone excited about learning.
Jim shares valuable insights about creating new products.
You need to have like a killer product market fit. You need to have authenticity.
Jim takes us through the product launch and scaling creative businesses.
You really need to nail what you're doing, and it needs to come from the heart. Like if you're overly commercial, you really need to watch out because people are smart. Audiences are very smart and they pick up on this stuff.
You really don't want to miss this one.
We don't measure success in number of dollars or subscribers. It's really like, is this having a meaningful impact on kids' interest in STEM?
Before we dive into today's episode, let's talk about that moment when a creator's idea becomes a real business. Mark Rober built CrunchLabs into a business with subscription boxes and a mission to transform STEM education. But if you want to sell your own products, whether it's merch, courses, or something entirely different, you need a domain name that clearly says, "This is my store." And that's where a .store domain name comes in. With a domain name like yourname.store, your web address tells your customers exactly where to go to buy. You're not stuck with a long generic platform link. Your .store domain name stays with you for life, regardless of where you host your shop. Best of all, creators using a .store domain name see up to 2 times more organic visibility and nearly 90% more clicks. So whether you're just getting started or building the next CrunchLabs, give your audience a link to remember. Get your .store domain name and my exclusive link in the description. Right, let's get on with the show. Today on the podcast, I'm joined by Jim Lee from CrunchLabs. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, Ian.
For everybody listening, what is CrunchLabs?
CrunchLabs, we aspire to be the best brand in the world in STEM. So science and engineering, getting kids, adults, everyone excited about learning. We extend the mission of Mark Rober, who's this phenomenal YouTuber who's built a really big brand over like a decade on YouTube. And CrunchLabs is an extension of his mission and what he does, and kind of allows people to have like an in-person experience and build great toys or products, and more to come. We can talk about it on the podcast here.
Excellent. And what's your role? How did you get involved?
Yeah, so I had actually known Mark back before YouTube was really a thing. I didn't even know like he was doing YouTube. So this was many years ago. He had under 1 million subscribers. We just got to know each other socially. We played soccer together for years, and like his channel just grew as I was working at Google. And the funny thing is I actually told Google, like, you got to watch out for this guy. He's doing family-friendly content, getting people excited about learning and STEM and, you know, science and engineering. And at the time, like, no one paid attention to it. But now we've had the CEO of Google, Sundar Pichai, and the CEO of YouTube. They've come to CrunchLabs, this place where we film the videos and we design the toys. And it's been a fun ride ever since. And my role is, you know, when Mark was like thinking about doing something to extend his mission, we would exchange, you know, like professional ideas from his world and from mine. And we, you know, drive into soccer and back. We'd talk about that. And eventually it became like a consulting project for like 10 hours in my kitchen, talking through like, hey, what would this business look like? And how would we do it? And what's the operating plan? And even like the financial model in Google Sheets. To this day, we still use the same file in Google Sheets that I created there. And so I'm President and COO is my official title, and also act as the CFO of this company and the Mark Rober YouTube channel.
That's amazing. And how long ago was that?
Oh, yeah, I left Google 3.5 years ago. So yeah, it's been a fun ride. I was minding my own business, eating all the soft serve ice cream that Google has. And yeah, Mark came in and just like, he wanted to do this and I couldn't resist.
Amazing. And tell us more about the products then.
Yeah, so I mean, we have something for everyone, and we develop original product and we pair it with a really great video every time. And so for kids, we have this thing called BuildBox, which is a monthly subscription box. It's a buildable project. It's premium. It's teaches like an engineering principle every single month. And that's for 8 to 12-year-olds, often even 6-year-olds, or sometimes building the toys and telling their parents and us about angular momentum and how it works. It's like really impressive. But beyond that, we also have something for teens and adults, and that's the HackPack, which is a monthly subscription box as well, which is like a robot in a box. So you open it up, you build the toy, it works, but you can hack it and customize it. And you can get like, even professionals can hack and change the code. And we have a AI chatbot that teaches you how to code. And so kids are using this as a tool to learn that and coding robotics and kind of build a cool project every month or every other month.
It sounds fascinating. It must take a long time to develop these products and then coincide it with a video.
Yeah, it's actually really hard. Thanks for asking about that. So each product takes a year to develop. So
Wow.
concepting, the team comes up with original ideas for videos and for products to pair up together. And that's a full year process. So at any given time, we don't just have the BuildBox line, which means there's 12 in development at any given time. We also have the HackPack line, so there's 12 in development there at any given time, on top of the other fun things that we're working on as well. So yeah, it's quite involved process across a pretty talented team of like video people, creatives, editors, script writers. Mark Rober, he's very involved in the designs and the videos as well.
That's cool. And how do you balance the entertainment and the education part? Like it must be quite hard. Something might be really fun, but maybe not that entertaining or vice versa.
Yeah, that's a funny way we look at that is we don't balance it. It's
Okay.
all entertainment. It's all
Yeah.
fun. Like the whole goal is just spark that initial interest. And Mark does that so well with the thumbnail for like a 15-ton Jello pool. You click it, you're in the first few minutes, you're like totally sucked in, but you also find that you're learning something about science and you actually enjoy it. Like you're interested to learn more. So we just start with the fun, create the spark, but then we provide like these roadmaps where you can learn more if you'd like. So here's a principle, here's where you could learn more about that. We open source a lot of stuff and just kind of allow you to find your passions. So we create a lot of different, Mark has so many ideas for future videos. It's not even funny. There's no force that can stop his brain thinking of these great ideas. So we're just, not all of them are good, but like 99% are really banger good ideas. So we're kind of like working as a team to just continually come up with these things and just, more to come.
And how do you test them? Like, I'm sure there are so many great ideas, but there must be some testing required to see whether it really lands or it's easy to build or the funds in it. How do you do that?
Yeah, so we do extensive toy testing with kids and adults. And beyond that, we also do like extensive toy certification internationally to be sure we're like building these toys in a way that's safe and sustainable. And so those things matter a lot to us. But the other part is we try to make the toys really accessible so that it's an experience that just the widest variety of people could experience. And we get some really cool hacks that people do, to accommodate just how certain people play or learn. And so we try to utilize that in future products as well.
Great. And can you take us back to the launch? Like, how did you think about that? You built these Google Sheets and had the discussions, but then how did you sort of take that concept and launch it?
Yeah. So we spent a year just toiling away in secret, just preparing the videos, the entity, just getting everything into place. And June 2022 is when we launched publicly. And the only way we launched was through a video from Mark Rober. And he did this great kind of reveal of his secret laboratory called CrunchLabs. And this is the place. This is where the magic happens, where the videos are filmed, where the toys are developed. This is where we work. And so from that generated a ton of buzz because like it's a real genuine thing from him. Like he really wanted to do something meaningful to help kids engage with science. And so it did really well. We sold out in a matter of a few days. We kind of ran into a bit of a struggle a month later when they were getting their second box. And it turned out we kind of broke the internet and Shopify a little bit
Wow.
because the pace of subscriptions and people signing up was like so fast. We kind of broke the thresholds of the throughput of those systems. And we had a few funny moments where we had to like call up our fulfillment center and say like, stop the presses. 3,000 of those orders need to be stopped. Like we need to change the box number on those. And thankfully we were able to work out those kinks from that initial launch. And now we've just been able to just grow smooth and steady and really build a sustainable effort here so we can continue to make the videos and new experiences for people.
That's great. I know it's been phenomenally successful. How do you gather feedback from the customers and build the community around it?
Yeah, I mean, first on success is like, we don't measure success in number of dollars or subscribers. It's really like, is this having a meaningful impact on kids' interest in STEM? Are we exposing kids to STEM careers that they wouldn't otherwise like get a chance to explore? And in those metrics, we actually track those and we survey people. We survey everything. Like we survey every single box and build that goes out and the videos. Like we look at the metrics on, you know, is there any issue with your build? Do we look at spare parts and any like problems we're having with that as well? We look at, yeah, so obviously the product scores and the videos. We ask parents, did your kid have like a meaningful increase in their interest in STEM as a result of, you know, this subscription and what they're seeing? And what we've seen is an increase. It was like 2/3 were like, absolutely yes. And now it's nearly everybody as we've worked out any kinks. Now it's like almost everyone is saying, yes, there's a noticeable material change to my kid's interest in this stuff. And not everyone has to become a scientist or mathematician or engineer. Like that's not, the goal is that you learn resilience. You learn how to break down problems. You learn how to try something new. And so we like survey all these questions. We send like I've got one here, like we send a cute little like Fat Gus plushie, you know, sometimes if people give like meaningful feedback.
And how do you keep up with the changing interests and trends amongst kids? I mean, if I think of my own kids, they're constantly looking at something new or playing with something new. How do you think about that at CrunchLabs?
Yeah, I mean, some things are timeless. You know, even like think about the toys you grew up with. Do you
Yeah.
have a favorite? You could think
I,
back and be like, yeah, that one, that was my favorite little mechanical toy. Do you
um,
have any of those?
I'm trying to think. Probably, yes. It was probably Lego Technic. I
Yeah.
was in that era where I was kind of using this programmable Lego Technic. I remember it was like a digger or something. And I think it was one of the first times that you could program Lego, and I was all over it. So
Yeah. So we look at play patterns, like how kids like you, like when you were a kid playing with that, how did you play with it? And this is a science. We science our way through all of this stuff. And there are some like common threads over time that are just like classic, but there's some other things where we do have to innovate and try new things. So like, for example, we launched a Roblox game and we've been iterating on that and trying to make it better. And so kids kind of get that spark learning how to build a rocket ship. So it's called build a rocket versus Mark Rober. And that's one thing we've tried in the Roblox kind of like digital world. And, you know, at the same time, we're trying things to keep pace in education, like science education. And there's a way we could like create a nice experience for kids in middle schools to start with, I think. And we're doing some testing there. So I think the answer is test and iterate, but draw from experience and wisdom from like play patterns of what's worked well, and then add the Mark Rober and CrunchLabs twist on top of that to just like make it awesome, make it a banger toy. It does this other additional thing on top of the, you know, the prior play patterns before. So that's like the recipe that we try to follow.
can you tell us about up and coming collaborations or partnerships that you've been working on?
Mm. Yeah, I mean, collaborations with other channels is a fun thing. Mark has his friends, and so they coordinate. Actually, just this Saturday, just a couple days ago, the Mark Rober versus the Dude Perfect guys
So that,
in
yeah,
like a no rules kind of a battle bots or like a robot competition. That's a great video. We love that kind of thing. Mark does that really well. The dudes, they were, I'd say they were gentlemen, through that experience. So we like that kind of thing. Other collaborations, we did something with chess.com, which, you saw, and we've been talking a little bit about. I think that's a great example of just a really great company doing really good stuff. We come together and it helps everybody. And they're just great people, and working with them has just been like just a delightful experience. And then the impact of working together has been above expectations. So more things like that, where it's kind of like co-marketing or collaborations with other creators or businesses, like that's what we're looking for, as opposed to more of like, we're going to spend, more money on Facebook ads and Instagram ads and things like that. We do some testing there, but I think these collaborations and partnerships are a much bigger thing for us.
I love that approach. And do you see similarities in problem solving with chess and engineering?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's so like-minded. So they're, co-founder and CEO Eric Alabest. He's just been he's a new friend. We just met, and I just like so impressed by what they've done, the way they run their business, the good that they're doing, and like the similarities with chess as a game, where you need to just go out and try and you science your way, but also there's intuition. Like it was such a win-win for us to work together. Um, yeah, and then the resilience aspect where you need to just kind of like try things, you're going to fail, and that's part of the process. Like we all fail. And sometimes that's frustrating for kids or adults, but like that's the important process. In science, you actually push things to failure. You disprove. And that's a very different way of looking at things. So that's what we're trying to instill. And I think that chess has that same approach, to become really good at that game. I mean, one similar way that chess and our ethos at CrunchLabs are similar is just we want to make science fun. And chess does that by default. And maybe that's not for everybody, but if you try and you learn, it's one way to kind of explore something new. And, it gives that opportunity to apply fun to something that's kind of scientific, logic, math-ish. So that's a similarity as well.
So what's the vision? What's the future of CrunchLabs?
Future of CrunchLabs, there's so much ahead. We're just getting started. Like subscription toys was the beginning. And then that brought us from kids to adults and like building robots, as a monthly project. Um, the future, I think, holds more in terms of education. So Mark actually wanted to become a teacher. He was even partway getting through his credential. And what he realized is that like with this platform, we're able to actually change science education in a much more meaningful way. So we've actually created a pilot episode of a science class. And in conjunction with that, we added the curriculum and all the materials that a science teacher would be able to choose bits and pieces or in totality to be able to teach an actual like national standards science class on a specific topic for a couple of weeks. And we've actually been like observing the classrooms, and sometimes Mark comes and wears a disguise, and we just see what's working well and what's not. And from that, we're actually drawing lessons and kind of looking at this new direction of like, we think we could actually make, maybe several more lessons and expand upon this and kind of start in that American middle schools in
Yeah.
grades like 6 through 8 and really create like the most meaningful, impactful, best materials and curriculum, including video and lesson plans and teacher guides and everything that's included. And so we're leaning on educators, administrators, everyone to really help us make this like really succeed. And from that, we could, go other directions. So education, that's one big area. And another area is, there's a few directions we could go that, potentially adding upon what we are able to do well, which is like taking a video and combining it with a really great product or like an in-person experience. And so I won't go into too much detail about that, but that provides a couple other directions as well that we're considering and exploring.
That's amazing. I just love the impact that you're going to have on all of these kids.
Mark's I've known him well, and I've known him for many years, and it's a genuine, authentic mission he's got. Like, this is truly, he says, I want to reach as many brains as possible. And that's what he's doing. And he doesn't have to work. Like, he'd be fine. He lives pretty modestly in a 3-bedroom townhome. But the time he spends on those videos and kind of the mission of this company and what we're able to do and build upon that, it's truly a great thing. And I think that we get a lot of people kind of rooting for us and behind us. And as soon as parents start to see that, they're going to get this more for their kids, like, or they're going to get it for themselves, or the teachers are going to embed this into their classes and get that spark and really like help with the exposure of STEM careers and the diversity of, that's on screen, but also like in the classroom of who's getting opportunities here in terms of like STEM careers. So we think this is an important mission. We have to really nail it.
Yeah, yeah, that's so important. Now, if I could ask one question, is maybe there one thing that nobody knows about Crunch Labs?
People don't know that it's like every 3 months or so, we have a not allowed to do real actual work day.
Okay.
And so we all come to the lab, we do a service project. We like, you know, build these projects like bikes for kids. And then we have like a little bit of a company meeting for like 15, 20 minutes. And then we eat a nice lunch. And then the rest of the day, we just actually play in CrunchLabs. So like when you never really get a chance to jump in the foam pit, shoot the tennis ball cannon, go through the secret passageways. People do skateboarding, pickleball, every sport imaginable is like everything's laid out and it's really, truly fun. So that's a fun day at work. And just the team just has a great time together. No one knows about this. Yeah.
That's really nice. I imagine every day's like that, no? Or perhaps the kids, that's what they think.
We spend a lot of time and money to make it seem that way.
Yes.
But the reality is like people think we're playing with squirrels in Mark's backyard. But
Yep.
no, there's like a team working very hard. And it's a very talented and skilled team. And like our head of product, our head of creative, head of media, all these people and the teams that they run are like, they're doing something very important and they take it very seriously.
I'm sure, yeah. I actually used to work at Disney and my daughter wanted to come to the office and she really thought it would be amazing. But when she was there, she was very much underwhelmed by everybody sitting at their desk and working. And she always wants to come with me to VidCon. But what she doesn't realize is that actually it's really boring and I'm just going to be working and talking to creators all the time.
It's maybe not quite that bad. Like we do have Nerf guns under our desks for any given moment in case of something breaks out, or if there's like you can't see, but off to the side of me, there's a giant version of the toys that we
Yes.
build. So there's a lot of like fun stuff, and we play, but we work. It's a balance.
Ah, yes. I saw some of those open source. I think the real toys, right?
Yeah, yeah. We did a giant version of the HackPack turret.
Yes.
That thing's scary. That's like a dangerous machine. We have to have two people constantly like around to be sure, and we like rope it off. Um, yeah, the small version is safe. The giant version, keep your distance.
Excellent. Well, Jim, thank you so much for your time today. It's been really fascinating to hear you talk about Crunch Labs. Before we wrap up, I just wondered, have you got any advice for aspiring entrepreneurs or creators that want to enter this type of space?
Yeah, I mean, I think every example is different, so I don't want to offer advice, but like I think the common threads are you need to have like a killer product market fit. You need to have authenticity. You really need to nail what you're doing, and it needs to come from the heart. Like if you're overly commercial or like the whole thing is just an ad, it's not a real thing. Like you really need to watch out because people are smart audiences are very smart and they pick up on this stuff. So it's got to be like a real, kind of mission driven, real nice product market fit and something authentic. Um, yeah, beyond that, like any creators, especially that are thinking about this, it's tricky and it takes more time and people and money than you think, but you can do it. Like I want to be encouraging and say like you can set a plan, you can get started. And Amazon and Jeff Bezos say it well, like you just don't want to have like any one-way doors that you go through. So we like to make our decisions where there's a two-way door. We can try something, test and iterate, A/B test it. And if it's not working, we can just kind of step back and go a different direction. So those are some of the important things. And then think about asymmetric risk and return profiles. And by that, what I mean is if you have a decision in front of you that has like really low downside, but it has the potential to just completely take off and become viral and become like a really big hit, we often look at those decisions in that framework. And we like to take those asymmetric bets that have like a much outsized return possibility in doing good versus like it's going to cost money, but it's worth the risk.
Wow, very wise words there and great advice. Jim, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure to hear about CrunchLabs, and I'm really excited to follow the journey moving forwards.
Yeah, thanks, Ian. It's great to talk with you and appreciate how smooth on the mic you are. It's very intimidating, but you've made this very smooth and easy for me. Thank you.
No, you've been a great guest. Thanks, Jim.